Hi there, and welcome to Life, a series of projects. So, some of you are thinking, what on earth is she talking about? How can life be a series of projects? Because it is just that, okay? So, if you think about life in general, start, middle, and end, right? And it sounds a little bit morbid, but that's the truth. Now, the idea here is not just focused on using life as a project, but it's about these significant areas that will then impact our lives as we're living. So you might have heard of something called the Wheel of Life. Yeah. Again, it is something that is part of ongoing coaching tools and techniques, and really good ones at that. So you look at, love and romance, career, family and general, relationships with friends, health and well-being, finances, that can be quite tough for a lot of us, and there's going to be so many other areas as well, spiritual growth, for example. Now, based on these particular areas, we're going to call them life objectives. Now, why are they called life objectives? Because basically we're trying to achieve a 10 in every single area, right? Yeah, it's exactly it. Or at least a higher score as possible. So what we're going to do within each objective is actually have tasks, and some of these tasks are going to have a bit of cross-referencing against all other objectives, and some of them are actually going to take on more tasks or more key activities than we realize in order to obtain a 10 in that life objective. So for example, if I take career, just as an example here, so you might be in a bit of a mundane 9 to 5, okay? And maybe you're worth more than that. Maybe there's something, well, actually, I'd like to go get into some sort of team leadership role, or maybe some sort of project management role, etc. Now, as someone who might be working in an admin sort of role, you're going to have to obviously think about your development goals towards that. Project number 1. What do you need in order to get out of your normal administrative roles? That's going to be your first target or your first project within that career life objective. Okay. The next one could be, right, now that I've taken some courses and maybe I've got a qualification in team leadership, just as an example, what's next? Maybe I now need to involve myself in projects and actually take some sort of leadership role within a project. That will be your next task or your next project to come within that. So do you see what I mean? Even though we're looking at these life objectives, it's not just going to take one project to achieve a 10 in each of these objectives. You're going to have to obviously take on additional tasks or additional projects in order to get there. So what does that mean in terms of your whole life? Look, are we going to achieve a 10 in every single area? No. But we are allowed to pick and choose which are going to be the areas of focus for those particular projects. And I'm not saying you're just going to do it once and then that's it. No, you are going to revisit and revisit and revisit, because again, some other balance or something that's going to score high may cause an impact in another area. So it causes you to revisit those life objectives. It's a little bit like a business, yeah? Business priorities will take precedence, and then therefore we're going to have to focus on them, i.e. take on projects that we can then obviously achieve a 10 in those objectives. But then what does that mean to the other objectives, or like the usual ways of living? We have to obviously start to think about the impact and then look at what other projects may be needed for those other areas. It's no different. Your life is a business, so don't procrastinate. Let's just get started.